everyone to the Cheltenham Countdown channel here on YouTube. And yes, as you may see from the title of the video, this episode will determine and reveal who my second anti-post tip for the 2026 Cheltenham Festival will be upcoming. I've had a fair few horses in mind who I'd like to put up. As you may have read on Twitter in my latest post, I have had a few horses in mind who I do like, but I've landed on one, which will be my second tip, obviously, for the series during the series of my anti-post tips. And I'd go as far as to say that already this season, this horse could potentially be my best pick of the entire series. So stay tuned. It's going to be an interesting selection, you may think. Hopefully some of you will like it. If some of you don't like it, obviously comment, disagree with it, all that kind of stuff. But obviously this will be my second anti-post tip, my official one, revealed today on the channel. So before I'd reveal my second selection in my series for the anti-post portfolio for Cheltenham, the horses in mind, guys, that was very close to putting up were as follows. So there's one horse in the championship race I was close to putting up. Marine National would have been the one in the champion chase. I'm not going to put him up today because we haven't seen him out so far this season. So he was close to being up. I think he's a general 4-1 price at the moment, which I think is fair for him to get to the race in March and hopefully retain his crown. So he would have been a potential selection, but I'm going to wait maybe until later in the season, until we see him out at a racetrack and hope and see how he runs, to determine if I do put him up or not in my series. So he was one. Marine National is not going up in my series today. There was a couple of novice hurdlers I thought of in terms of the Turners and the Albert Bartlett, but I want to wait and see how they fare later, because anything can happen with novice hurdlers. You don't know how they're going to fare sort of later in the season. Lot can change and possibly alter in those markets. So I just want to wait a bit more. The prices are good. I think if they continue to drop, it won't matter. The prices are still decent, but with regards to novice hurdlers, you just don't know how they're going to fare later in the season. They've obviously had a good start, and I'm going to name a couple for you now. In no drama this end, you guys know how much I'm fond of this horse, Paul Nicholls. He would have been a pick in either the Turners or the Albert Bartlett, so we'll wait to see on that particular horse. And I did like a horse in Albert Bartlett for Willie Mullins called Copacabana, who ran last weekend. I think it was last weekend, guys. I did keep my own name for the Albert Bartlett market. He did come second in the race, I think, last weekend, which meant that his price has gone up a bit more in the Albert Bartlett novices hurdle market. I'm not putting him up again today either. So they're the two, No Drama this end and Copacabana, the two novice hurdlers, which I have had in mind for a bit longer, a bit recently, but I'm not putting them up at all so far in my series. Now I'm going to come on to my second tip now, guys. And in terms of who I'm putting up today, I want it to be a horse that I know is going to this race. Obviously, my first selection with the Big Westerner, you've seen that reasoning, you've seen my previous video. She has come out and run, which is great. But again, there's a bit of uncertainty whether she will end up at the Brown Advisory or the Mare's Chase. So that's on hold at the moment. Hopefully things will soon unravel and we'll see which race that horse does end up going to. Now, as I mentioned with my second anti-post tip, it's a horse that I know is definitely going to this race. He's already ran this season, and it is in a championship race. So I'm very happy with the selection already. The fact it's in a championship race, you have a sense and a bit more certainty whether this horse will end up going to this race. Now I'm putting up in the Stayers Hurdle at 5-1. I've had a bit of a price boost on him as well, guys, as you have read on Twitter and X. At 5-1, it's going to be T-Hoop. That is my second anti-post tip selection in the book. I have got T-Hoop in the Stayers Hurdle at a price of 5-1 to win next year's race. Quick reasoning, because you all know what you all know about T-Hoop. There's not much I can add to it rather than the fact he would have won two Stayers Hurdles races had it not been for Bob Ollinger last season. Obviously finished second in the race at the festival this year. Before then, he won the Stayers Hurdle in 2024. In 2023, he finished third. He's a very consistent sort. He's won 3 Hatton's Grace races in a row, so he's a very, very underrated horse. He's a good, solid selection. And I'm staggered. I'm absolutely shocked that he's not favoured for this race, even after winning the Hatton's Grace in the way he did in Ferryhouse earlier this month. He beat obviously Ballyburn, who Ballyburn is the current anti-post market leader for the race. And I'm so surprised Ballyburn is that short and even the anti-post favourite. He beat, Tupou beat Ballyburn over 2.5 miles. I even think 7 up to 3 miles, which we know Tupou does so well. Ballyburn is a bit. We don't know how much he can progress and develop over 3 miles over hurdles. We know what he did last season over his fences wasn't great. So can you rely on him over hurdles over 3 miles? That's a question mark. Tupou, you know, is solid. You know, has been there and done it. And I'm happy with the fact he can go on any ground. People say he does prefer soft to heavy conditions. That's fair, but he has won on good to soft. He has won on yielding out in Ireland. He's very consistent. He's not ground dependent as such. He is. He's very strong. He's a very strong selection, I feel. And the fact both firms, one or two firms, did put up the 5-1 initially. I took that price straight away because I thought it was a very it was a very strange price to put him up to, boost him to that price, because we know he's going to run in the Sayers hurdle. We know he's going to be one of the top two in the market for it. I can't see him being 5-1 on the day personally. So that's pretty much it, guys. You know what Tupou will do. He will end up probably going straight to the festival if he doesn't have the run in the Leopardstown over Christmas. So he'll be very fresh to run at Cheltenham. He's won the race before. Finished second, like I said, finished second last season. It was between him and Bob Orlinger, the two Robco horses, who would probably end up going to the races again. But I just think Tupou at that price was stolen money. If you think to me, guys, was stolen money. You could easily still back him a 4-1. He's a general 4-1 price with a couple of firms. That's still fair, in my opinion. You could still get him in the book at 4-1. Ballyburn is as short as 9-4, and like I said, I can't see why is that price. Obviously, we thought he was staying on in the Hatton's Grace hurdle over 2.5 miles. Maybe people think that stepping up to 3 will suit him better, but for me, he's just so unreliable. He's so unreliable. There's a good ride from Paul Townend on the day at Ferryhouse, but you can't guarantee that every single time he runs. He's obviously flopped at Cheltenham last season over fences. He won the Ballymore, or the Gallagher, as it was known back then, over his novice hurdle days, and looked impressive. But this is an open company against top-staying hurdlers. Do we think he deserves to be that short? I don't. So that is why I'm siding with Tupou at a general 5-1 price, now 4-1, and that's one of my best selections I've ever had, guys. I'm surprised I caught him that quickly. I'm surprised bookies boosted him to that price. So that's it. That's my reasoning. Quick reasoning, guys. It is going to be Tupou, second anti-post tip, 5-1 for still an 8-year-old, guys. Tupou is still 8 years old, rising to 9. He's still legs in the horse. There's still enough legs and life in the horse in terms of winning more Grade 1s. He's not as if he's a 12-year-old or a 13-year-old, even an 11-year-old. He's an 8-year-old rising to 9, probably in the prime of his career, you may say, at that age. And I think he can regain his Sayers Hurdle crown. He is entered for the Christmas Hurdle at Leopardstown in December. Great, but whether he runs there or not, because I think Bob Orlinger is also entered in the race, and they're both owned by the same owners. So he may end up going to the Cheltenham Festival fresh, as he usually does, and that won't be a bad thing. That will not be a bad thing. He'll have a run at Cheltenham, a run at Punch on the end of the season, and that probably will be it. Unless he can find another Grade 1 into him, the Gordon Elliott will find another Grade 1 with him during the campaign elsewhere, but I doubt it. So there's so much boxes he ticks. He's officially rated still 162, which is very consistent. He's been 162, 164 for a long time. And like I said, his Cheltenham record isn't too bad. Winner of Sayers Hurdle in 2024, third in 2023, and obviously second this year. So he's a reliable sort, guys. He's a reliable contender for the Sayers Hurdle. So that is my selection, a quick brief of him, and he will join the big Westerner, the Brown Advisory Novices Chase, in my series for my anti-post tips. Everything from this video then, guys. Like it if you have enjoyed my selection, my anti-post tip for the Cheltenham Festival. It is obviously Tupou, as you have heard, for the Sayers Hurdle. So like it if you do think it's a decent selection, or if you think it's a bad selection even. Put a thumbs down or a comment to say why it's not your preference for the Sayers Hurdle. Subscribe to the channel to get more anti-post tips during the season. I obviously do post on X a lot, on Twitter a lot, to tell you when my anti-post tips will be coming out. Subscribe to get every video notified when it does get released on this channel, guys. And Obviously, comment your selections. I have had a lot of responses in the first video with your first anti-post tips of your choices. Give me others that you have put up recently and since then. So, like I said, like the video, share if you wish, comment your selections, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel.